Hey guys, Kurt Wilson beats On Bytes, and the world is crazy right now, right? So one of the things that helps me stay sane and really get through some of these times is the power of music. And if you think about it, in every volatile time in the world, there has been great music that has come out of it. And I'm sure that there will be at this time as well. Music is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful mediums as far as a message, to evoke an emotion, to change an emotion. If you're sad, you're diving into those sad songs, you can put on something that turns that around a little bit and actually elevates your mood and maybe puts you in a different direction that's a little bit more positive. But also think about any party, any event. You're going to remember the music or the performers that actually performed at that event. Think about the 1993 Bill Clinton's inaugural party. Fleetwood Mac, in that format, got together for the first time in over 10 years playing together, and probably for the sole purpose of playing the song Don't Stop. So Bill and his family can get on stage, Michael Jackson on stage, everyone's on stage singing Don't Stop, thinking about tomorrow. A real positive message as far as what the future can hold, the possibilities for our nation and the world. A very positive moment in time. Fleetwood Mac, a part of that. Music has the ability to educate and inspire. It also has the ability to hold a light on something that needs to be looked into, needs to be understood, needs to be solved. Socially relevant songs pushing and urging for a topical change. Woody Guthrie had songs, Hobo Lullaby, Dust Bowl Refugee, dealing with the Dust Bowl, dealing with the economic, socio-economical situations that were happening at the time, geographically, politically. They were songs that you could sing along to, but at the same time they had a message. And as you sang along, you started to think about, the farmers and the situations of people, putting all their belongings in their trucks and driving, trying to find land that they could build on and land that they could grow things on.
This land is your land, and this land is my land, from the California to the New York Island.
Bob Dylan owed a lot of his earlier career to that type of lyricism and that type of art form to create something that asked the question. A song like Blowin' in the Wind, one of Bob Dylan's earlier hits, was a song that never really gave an answer or solution, but it raised so many great questions about how our society existed and how we treated people. One of the lines, how many years must a mountain exist before it crumbles to the sea? How many years must some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Dealing with the socio-economical times and the political and racial unrest that was going on. Again, raising the question to hopefully prompt solutions. Music has the ability to educate and inspire and promote change. Bob Dylan, like him or not, influenced a generation and beyond. The Beatles were buying his records and changing the way that they were songwriting and moving beyond their pure pop beginnings. Music has an impact that can change things. Songs reach us in such a deep and profound way that it almost breaks through the guards and the barriers and truly gets to our heart and soul of inspiration and action. When you look at the way certain songs have defined a generation and defined a movement in a generation, Bob Geldof deciding that he could put his friends together and create a song that the royalties would go to help feed the starving people in Africa. I mean, this is thinking beyond, putting out my next record, getting my next tour going, and all of this. It astounds me that artists have the ability to make such an impact for social change and social understanding and social awareness. And it's beautiful when it works and when it happens. But message songs are not always popular. Even having a political view or an opinion is not always the best thing for an artist. Take, for example, the Dixie Chicks. They shared a personal vision, a personal view that they felt about then President George W. Bush, and there was such a backlash. They had DJs were not playing their records on the radio. There were people and promoters that were having record smashing parties. It affected their careers in a hugely negative way. In a country founded and known for free speech and for the ability to speak your mind, pretty astounding that there can be that kind of reaction when somebody shares their opinion. And it is just that, their opinion. Marvin Gaye wrote a song called What's Going On? And he had a brother in Vietnam, and he saw what was going on with police brutality and racial inequality. This is I believe it's 1971. 1971. And look at the things that are going on today. So these are issues and these are things that need to continue to be addressed, continue to be looked at, continue to be moving forward until someday it's not an issue anymore. But the thing with what's going on in Marvin Gaye, he took it into Berry Gordy, who was the president and owner of Motown, and Berry Gordy wouldn't release it. He didn't believe, he said it's too political, it's too personal, people are not going to buy it. It will not be commercial. So Marvin Gaye was one of the biggest artists on Motown at the time, and convinced Berry Gordy to release it, but Berry Gordy released it on Tamela, which was a subsidiary to Motown, and surprisingly enough, it became one of the biggest selling records for Motown at that time. I wrote a song several years ago called I Push You Push, and it's about the injustices and about the way when people fight, sometimes it's just a pushing battle and it really doesn't get any sort of resolve. And I wrote it originally about the situations of countries and places that seem like they will never have a resolution because of the culture and because their kids are raised to not look at the people on the other side as people, but to look at their generalized ideals as being opposed to their own. And so there's no space for people to have their own experience of humans are humans, and we all want the same things. And to allow relationships and to allow experience to be the thing that builds bridges and mends fences. With all that's going on in the world today, in the news, it seemed an appropriate time to share I Push You Push, which has never been released. Performed it a ton of times when I was doing a lot of live gigs, and it's one of my favorite songs. Please understand, I am not saying I deserve to be among this company of artists that have changed the world with their music. However, please realize I am inspired and continue to be inspired by them. And I love the fact that they help me look at where we are, but also to have a vision and a desire for a space where we could be. And I think that's important as a society for us to constantly be growing, sharing, and moving in a direction together. So thanks for being here. Let me know what you think, and please be safe. Listen, remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that way I can let you know when new stuff is coming up. There's a ton of stuff coming up. Give me any sort of feedback. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much.